What are you more excited about? Raffy Devers coming to the Giants or Joey Chestnut returning to the Nathan's hot dog eating contest?
What do you think?
Well, just be honest.
I'd say I'm more excited for Devers, Derek.
Yeah, but, the Giants acquire this type of player all the time. Joey Chestnut coming back.
Do you watch the hot dog contest, eating contest?
Every year.
Every year. So you
Every
wake
year.
up and you watch it.
I watched it last year, even with, God, what was his name? I can't remember his name. Joe Bartoletti, I want to say, won last year, eating 58 hot dogs. I'll get the actual winner of the contest. But
Yeah, please do.
last year was a snoozer because they didn't have Michael Jordan of Major League Eating participating.
I will say that these last 2 years have been fascinating with what's surrounding the hot dog eating contest because 2023 you had the rain, and then
Yeah.
2023 you had the rain, then Chestnut walking back in like he's, I don't know, Klay Thompson coming back from the torn ACL so he could shoot some free throws in Game 6 of the finals, or last year when this whole thing with Impossible Foods happened. I do have to say I was thoroughly humored, I guess is the word, by Chestnut's Instagram post announcing his return.
Yeah, I thought it would have been more epic if he just did the Michael Jordan, I'm back. Don't need to say anything else. Don't need to do like a thread, an explanation of why you're coming back or what happened a year ago. Who cares?
Yeah.
You're the motherfucking man. Just say I'm back and let everybody come to you.
I like how he had to make sure to clarify that Nathan's is the only hot dog brand that he's ever worked with. And even though he is working with plant-based product companies, that has never impeded with his love for the hot dog.
Well, let's be real. The Shea brothers, George Shea, Richard Shea, they created Major League Eating years ago. And they can act like, they're the reason why it's a big deal. But no, it was Kobayashi. It was really Joey Chestnut. So they need him. Like David Stern, when he was commissioner of the NBA, he was really smart to say, like, these guys, Michael Jordan or Kobe Bryant, all the stars of the league are why you're tuning in. But I didn't care for the arrogance a year ago. And, like George Shea's kind of rubbed me the wrong way since he did that ESPN 30 for 30, the good, the bad, the hungry.
Mm-hmm.
But to act like hey, we'll still have a good hot dog eating contest. No, it needs Joey Chestnut, even though like it's still lacking without Kobayashi. You want to see him. You want to see if he get to like I guess a year ago at 58. You want to see like him get to like 90 this year,
right,
which would be a lot. But I don't know. I'm excited for that. But we got a ways away from that, Steve. We still got July 4th. That's like 3 weeks away, 2 weeks away.
Okay, let's clock it right now. Then let's put the over under at 84.5. Are you going over? Or are you going under?
Say it again. What was the over under?
84.5. That's the line.
He took a year off, but he really didn't. Remember he did that Labor Day battle against Kobayashi.
Oh yeah, he ate 82.
I'm going to say over. I'm going to say over.
I'm going to go under. I don't think he could get it done.
You don't think so, huh?
No.
Yeah, Patrick Bertoletti won last year with 58 hot dogs.
Okay, good. I'm glad we got that. I'm glad we got that figured out.
Yeah, it's important. But yeah, no, Kobayashi needs to come back too. Like we were talking about, the great rivalries in sports with the Dodgers and Giants playing each other. You need Kobayashi versus Joey Chestnut. And I know that Joey Chestnut has pretty much dominated him of late or the last however many years, 10, 15 years. But he's the only guy that can actually compete with Joey Chestnut. So I don't know. I still think we're lacking that. Like I'm not afraid of, and even though I know he's from San Jose as well, but Mad Megatoad Stoney took down Joey Chestnut 1 year. But besides that, this guy's dominated. He needs a little competition.
You want some parity in competitive eating is what you're saying.
I do, yes.
I mean, Kobayashi, it sounds like he's a lot happier though. You know what pissed me off?
What's that?
And I guess we got to give him credit because he worked out and probably went to the gym. But Kobayashi has done all this competitive eating. And when the announcement happened, when he said he's officially retiring from eating, then he shows a picture of his six pack, and he's got like one of those V's on the hips, where you're super skinny and it shows. It's like, how the hell?
It's an arrow pointing right to the crotch.
Exactly. Shout out Step Brothers. How does he have that when he's eaten all that he's eaten in his life? It's crazy to me.
His metabolism is weird. He's just able to stay really cut. He's in shape. It just eat whatever the fuck he wants.
Yeah. I do think in sports, we always see rule changes whenever there's something or someone that has a clear advantage over the other. For example, the tuck rule, right? They wanted to ban it because the Eagles are the ones that are running it to great success. Well, I think they need to come up with a rule in the hot dog eating contest. You're not allowed to eat the hot dogs and the buns separately. You have to eat the hot dog together. It's so unfair.
I don't think it is. I think it's all technique.
Screw technique. You want parity? Have them eat the entire hot dog as an actual hot dog, not just the sausage in a bun.
Are you just saying that because you hate the way it looks and how disgusting it is, or do you really want to throw a curveball at these eaters?
I want it to be more competitive, and I'm trying to come up with different ways to make it competitive instead of bringing Kobayashi out of retirement. That's all I'm saying, Derek. I'm creating ideas here. I'm giving new life to the world of competitive eating, which quite frankly they're lacking.
No, I agree. I mean, every year it's just the same thing with George Shea coming up with a fantastic intro and doing a rap for Badlands. Gonna eat with Badlands, compete with Badlands. And then he has a big introduction for Joey Chestnut, and he dominates as always. So maybe a little more competition, maybe rule changes. Who knows? That's a long ways away. Just your opinion, man. Stephen Langford, Derek Papa, we're coming to you on a Wednesday night. The Giants are currently playing, and they're down 1-0 as Raffy Devers was introduced yesterday to be the newest Giant. Before we get to all that, I got to ask the chat something. Where the hell's Rockin' New Era? And I got a feeling he's mad at us. Did something happen where he was offended with Steven telling him, like, hey, we're going to talk about what we want to talk about? Because I noticed he's usually here, right on time, not here tonight. Come on, someone give me the skinny. Ernie, Otis Bird, Tacky. Tell us what's up with Rockin' New Era, because this is unlike him not to be here tonight.
We're worried about him.
AJ Cruz too. They're kind of acting like, oh, we got this whole band thing from the show. What's the deal? Go on, because we talk a little football from every now and then. Well, guess what? We're gonna start with some baseball tonight, if you guys want us to. Oh, here we go. Oh, Pat H. Who gives a shit? Well, fair enough. And then Tacky, I ain't no snitch. Oh, and Ernie too. Everyone. Oh, so we got secrets now. Okay, all right.
Yeah, I don't know what the hell I said.
Right.
I mean, I know the Ernie 2 one. If he doesn't want to tune in for that, then that's fine. But the AJ one, I don't know. He said, nice guy banned me.
You break it up. Oh, maybe it's me.
Oh boy, it might be me. Uh-oh. Oh no, this isn't good. Oh no. All right.
It might be me. It might be me. Are you there?
I'm there. Are you here? Are you there? I think my connection's
I'm here now. My connection though is kind of getting shitty tonight.
Oh boy. Uh-oh.
Shit. It's this time.
Huh?
Is it both of us?
I think it is. Okay.
Baxter?
Sorry, Jesse. And
blink twice if you're in Milwaukee.
Blink twice if you're bark twice if you're in Milwaukee. Okay, hang on. All right, we're moving. I'm so sorry, Jesse. I'm gonna ruin it.
Okay, you got me? Because I can't see you now, and I don't know if the audience can either.
I'm just moving. I turned the mic. I turned the camera off.
You got me, Steven? Yeah.
I'm moving.
Rockin' New Era, you got what you wanted. You totally sabotaged the show. Look at this now.
Oh boy, connection's really bad in there. I got to move in here.
No, but I got the same issues. Hang on. Let me I may have to turn off my YouTube right now. I was paying attention to the Giants game.
Uh-oh.
Jesus.
This is not good.
This is going swimmingly.
Yeah, it is. I could see you a little bit.
All right, Walter. Coming in here, and I thought I had technical difficulties.
Oh.
All right, my connection's a little spotty. Okay, how about now? Are we all good, everybody, with me? We cool? Nope, still finicky. All right, here's what I'm going to turn off my UV while the game's going on, and hopefully that changes things. Hang on 1 second.
We're just... Can anyone hear us? Hello? Is there life out there?
You got me?
I mean, I got you.
Steven, you got me?
I got you, bud.
Okay. All right.
Do you have me?
We're all good, but I don't see you.
Well, yeah, it's because I turned my camera off.
Oh, okay. Hang on.
Can you see me?
You're just in a different spot now? Okay, you're back.
No, I'm back in the same spot. I just didn't have the Wi-Fi set up to the right router.
Gotcha. Okay, hang on. I may have to leave real quick and then come back again because my connection's getting really shitty.
Can someone comment in on it and say like whether mine's all right? I don't know. I never know. It looks like it's perfect on my end, but it always looks like it's perfect on our ends. How we doing? Passion for the pastime, Walter. I haven't seen you at Oracle Park, my man. Okay, this is fine. Derek, Stephen fine, Derek. See, this is we're getting mixed messages here. Ernie, Derek better, Tacky, Stephen fine, Otis Bird. Your connection is fine. I don't know which one it is. I think the connection's okay now. I think we're rolling in. Still waiting for Derek, but how can you be excited? More excited? How's the connection now? Because now my Wi-Fi is looking like it's screwing up. How's it now? Does anyone know? Can anybody hear me? I'm live on social media. This is embarrassing. Are you back?
I might be. How's everything?
It looks okay. You're a little delayed.
Yeah, it sounds like it.
Wait.
All right.
Keep talking. Keep talking. Keep going.
Hello, it is me, Eric Papa, trying to do this YouTube live stream, and my connection is shitty as hell. I see I'm down to 1 bar when it comes to the signal in the corner.
Bark once if you're in Oakland.
Woof.
Oh, shit. That was a delayed bark.
It's that bad?
It's not that bad. We'll keep going.
All right, hold on. I'm gaining steam here. Hang on.
Yeah, it feels like we are.
Okay.
No, not Phoebe. Not
okay.
now.
Good now.
Yeah.
Well, now the damn cat's in the way. All right.
What the hell?
Hello, everybody. Just your opinion, man. Stephen Langford, Derek Papa. So what do you guys want to talk about tonight? Because apparently we pissed off AJ Cruz and Rockin' New Era. So where should we start? You want to start with Giants? You want to start with football? God forbid. Basketball news?
I'm up for anything, man, because I think the Giants is what's hot, but also they need to start winning here. Like they've been riding the high of the trade ever since Sunday. It's like, okay, it's okay. It's fine if we lose to the Dodgers. Oh, first game against the Guardians. It's Devers' debut, and he got a couple of base hits. And the reason they lost is because of a base running blunder by Casey Schmidt, and they just couldn't knock anyone in when they had runners in scoring position. But now it's actually time to start winning because, I mean, the Dodgers are pulling away right now in the NL West. They are. And the Padres are kind of sinking. So they need to start winning right now. Like that's where I'm kind of past the point of being stoked about this trade. Now I want to see it resulting in some wins.
Well, I hear you, Steven. But I mean, I know last night was frustrating. They were 1 for 13 with runners in scoring position.
Correct,
and
sir.
Casey Schmidt had a awful night where he got doubled off when he was trying to go to third and then came back and got thrown out. He struck out horribly. People are going to talk about should Jung-Hoo Lee have run to home when the game was in the bottom of the ninth and they were down 3-2 to tie the game up.
Tough call.
I think it's a tough call, but honestly, I think Jung-Hoo Lee made the smart decision because you're okay with losing the game that way as opposed to, oh, you ran for home and you got thrown out and it was by a mile. And why'd you do that? You put a Casey Schmidt in a better position when the bases are loaded and everything. So yeah, I understand why he did that. It's one game and they're losing right now. There's going to be kind of, an acclimation period.
Sure.
Even with Raffy Devers being the type of hitter he is. I mean, last night you saw that he is a professional hitter. I know that, he struck out on his first plate appearance, but then he got an RBI double. Then he kept him in the game in the bottom of the ninth. And then, I know people are going to nitpick. Like, people don't like Casey Schmidt. People don't like Tyler Fitzgerald. Those are guys that you could replace in the offseason. I think that, and let me know if my internet's crapping out again. I think that those moves, I don't think you could change that right now. And I think that you have to, keep things in perspective of where they were just a couple of weeks ago. They didn't score more than 5 runs in 16 consecutive games. And now they got this fantastic hitter, this all-star, this champion, and things are going to change offensively. They're going to be better. It's just you want to see them, you want to see them not lose the same way they did in the past. So my expectations for the Giants now are they should be a playoff team. Could they be a World Series team? I mean, they have the pitching to do it. They have a really strong, starting rotation. They have the best bullpen in all of baseball. They just need to get some clutch hitting every now and then. And I think this is going to help out Willy Adames. We'll see what happens when Matt Chapman gets back. So the expectation, or the goal, I've been saying, should be that they get to the wild card, or they get to the playoffs. They win the wild card matchup, just win 2 games to advance to the next round. And then after that, let's see where it goes. The goal should be to get to the NLDS, in my opinion.
Yeah. No, I agree. On the Casey Schmidt front, you're not going to do anything when Chapman's out. Schmidt's your best defensive third baseman right now. I know we forget about that, but when Casey Schmidt was coming up and before he made his start, like that's where people were most excited about him. It was what he was doing defensively on the left side. And then he had to switch positions. It was awkward. He moved to first base. That's not his natural position. He's a third baseman or he's a shortstop, more of a shortstop, but obviously Willy Adames has that locked in now. And he played a lot of third base when he was coming up in Eugene to Richmond to Sacramento. So I think that he brings the type of value that a lot of these Giants bring. And I think there's a lot of people, a large majority, who feel that's not good enough because you're not doing stuff in the batter's box. And where's the value at? He has made a couple of blunders defensively, there's no doubt. But as far as talent, skill, like if you're counting on anyone to make a game-saving defensive play, which is what Matt Chapman did last year. If you remember that series when they went to the East Coast, it was the road trip, and I believe it was the Pirates followed by the Mets, where he made 2 back-to-back plays on back-to-back nights that were just outstanding. If you're going to count on one player in the infield to make like a game-saving play, to me, it'd probably be Schmidt. I think Adames is great, but Schmidt's right up there. So I think there's still some value. I don't think you need to DFA him right now just because he had one bad game. Like that's an overreaction to action.
Thank you, Bob Fitzgerald. I think that
by the way, I pulled I had like a Bob Fitzgerald moment in the living room when Devers was hitting. I was like, he tried to hit that all the way to Oakland.
Yeah, I actually should have said Tim Roy because he's the one that usually rhymes. It's more
Right.
Bob Fitzgerald that says the Human Torch. I hear you. No, I
Guardians
hear
are
you.
giving them their best shot.
Yeah, I think that what's the score right now? Is it still 1-0?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, you're not going to DFA Casey Schmidt. That's ridiculous. I think that he's a good third baseman. He had a bad moment in the Rockies game, I want to say last Thursday, but
he did.
No, I mean, yeah, without Matt Chapman, the offense is going to struggle a little bit, but this is where guys like, you all right?
No, it's 4-0 now.
Oh, Jesus, someone just hit a home run?
Yeah, Schneemann.
Ned Schneemann.
Actually, it's Schneemann.
Exactly. Well, that sucks. But, yeah, the bottom line is I know that fans now are going to have these expectations every night. Like today, people were pissed because of the way they lost, and now they're going to be like, well, you got to DFA Casey Schmidt. You got to get rid of Tyler Fitzgerald. You don't have the luxury to do that right now. And just because they make one move doesn't mean they're going to make a bunch of moves. So they were lucky to pull this move off. And I think the next move they're going to make is probably just calling up Bryce Eldridge. So I don't know if they're going to make any drastic changes to improve second base or the outfield or upgrade at right field instead of Yaz. But I think fans should be happy with the move they make. And this is going to, it's going to gradually grow. I think that you have to give it some time. They may not win the division. And that's maybe a goal down the line when you can improve more in the offseason. But I think that to have the expectations of be a wild card team and make the postseason, it's not that bad. So just give it time. Baseball's a long season, and I know that now with making this move, Giants fans are gonna react like Yankees fans or Dodgers fans or Red Sox fans to be like, "Why the fuck did we lose that game last night?" That's just sports talk radio. That's what we're gonna react to every day. But play the long game, everybody. Just if they don't make the postseason, that's when you could be up in arms.
Well, I don't necessarily agree with you that it's a done deal that Buster Posey's done making moves. I'm not saying that he's going to. You're probably right, but I'm going to leave the door open on that because no one expected him to make this trade for Devers. And even though it feels like they ran out of all their prospects and anyone who is tradable in that one, not really. If they feel comfortable enough with their starting pitching, let's just say they feel comfortable with Landon Roop or Hayden Birdsong, and those guys are the future of the rotation. Like I wouldn't put it past Posey now. If there's a chance, if there's an opportunity, see, that's the thing with Otis Bird. He just mentioned the name. If there's an opportunity that Wizen Hunt is involved, then, I mean, it depends on the player, obviously. But I just wouldn't put it past Posey to do anything. You're probably right that the next big move is going to be Eldridge's call up, and that might be the only big move with a couple of, just kind of nothing deals where they're just kind of, taking a crack at somebody who's not getting an opportunity with their current team and they just feel like they're worth something in a trade. But I would put it past Posey to do something else before the trade deadline. Like, why not be like your counterparts in the National League West and get a little greedy? The Dodgers just never stop signing guys and never stop trading. The Padres are always signing these big money contracts. Why not try to at least join them instead of just trying to beat them with what you have? I just want to put it past them. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, no, I totally get that. But, I would say baby steps. Like, this is not the typical Giants move. I think that the fact that they pulled this off is pretty impressive. So I would say I just don't expect it. But at the same time, like, yeah, I didn't expect Buster Posey to pull this move off in the first place.
Right.
But let's talk about that real quick because yesterday was very interesting with the press conference. Raffy Devers was introduced, and he got his jersey shown. He's going to wear number 16. I felt bad they had to wear that City Connect hat as the first hat he put on. But tonight he's wearing the normal uniforms, and he looks a lot better in those. I'm still not a fan of the City Connect jerseys. But it was interesting that with all the hoopla around how he exited Boston, he is so willing to play first base now. And that's no surprise, but I'm sure the people of Boston are like, well, fuck, dude. Like, why with us are you so opposed to him, or why are you so opposed to what went on there? I think it was a lack of communication. I think it was the owner kind of sitting him down and be like, this is what we're going to do here. We're the Boston Red Sox. We gave you a 10-year contract. You're going to do what we tell you to do. And he's like, fuck that. You brought in Alex Bregman to basically take my job. And then, like, another guy's willing to take my job at first base, and now I have to DH. Fuck that. So when you change teams, it's very similar to Jimmy Butler, honestly, with how demonstrative things went with Miami and how he left. Pat Riley's talking shit about him. Former Heat players talking shit about him. Tim Hardaway didn't have the best things to say about him once he left Miami. But then once he got there, it was all, smiles and handshakes. He was like, I'm willing to do whatever they need me to do because I'm here to play with Steph Curry, and the key to success is get the fuck out of the way and let Steph do his thing. It's kind of the same deal where Raffy Devers now is like, I'm here. Buster Posey wants me. He's a former player. I respect him. They came to get me. So now I'm willing to do whatever they want me to do. I'll play with any position they want me to play. So I respect that. I can also see why Boston fans are a little perturbed by that. But at the same time, I think that, Raffy Devers was kind of dealt a bad hand. But I also agree, like all the former players coming out, like David Ortiz and Jonathan Papelbon, saying like he wasn't a good teammate. That's not the Red Sox way. Yeah, I get that. But also, like, you guys weren't in that situation. You don't know how bad the communication was. And Manny Ramirez and Pedro Martinez were the only guys to come to his defense.
see, this is what I like. Listen to those two guys that you mentioned right there. One, Jonathan Papelbon, a guy who fought the young franchise player, like with the Nationals. I mean, really? I know that he had a lot of success with the Red Sox, and that's where he kind of turned into this superstar of a closer. But come on, like really? You're talking about someone being a good or bad teammate. Then there's David Ortiz, a Boston Red Sox legend who was the face of the franchise. I'm sure if you heard from him or, say, Dustin Pedroia, you'd probably get a negative opinion about Devers and how he handled things because they are so loyal to Boston. He was meant to be the next face of the franchise. And then you have Manny Ramirez, who's going to the bathroom in the Green Monster, and Pedro Martinez, who is throwing old guys over on the first base side whenever they're facing the Yankees. Who was that guy? Who's the coach? I'm blanking on his name.
I forget, but that's one of my all-time favorite moments.
Legends, but not exactly faces of the franchise. Roger Clemens kind of was, and I don't think he had some great things to say about Devers either. But Devers was put in an impossible position, and it feels like they're taking their anger on the Red Sox organization out on Devers when really it should be on that front office for trading away Mookie Betts, for handling this Devers situation where you gave him this long-term extension and it didn't amount to anything except for a trade with the Giants. You got rid of Xander Bogaerts and didn't bring him back. Like, it's the Red Sox who blew this. It's not Devers. It's not his fault. You always go straight to the player, and I just think it's bullshit, really.
I agree. Yeah, I mean, no one's going to blame. I mean, from the Boston side, fans are mixed. Some people are upset with Craig Breslow for how he handled this thing.
He's a legend.
Yeah, I totally get. What's that?
A's legend, Craig Breslow.
Sorry, I apologize. I'm way delayed. This connection sucks tonight.
Yeah, it's okay. Craig Breslow, man, he was a starting pitcher.
Okay,
in the mid
I'm gonna try to speak as as much as I forgot about him, but okay, sorry. I know my connection's shitty tonight, so I'm gonna try to speak as much as possible without being delayed or whatnot. What I found interesting was Alex Pavlovich he wrote a whole article about how this trade went down and the details that went into it, and it basically just started with Buster Posey texting Zach Namazian and I forget the other guy's name, the assistant GM Shelley, about how he had something minor to take care of with Craig Breslow, and then he's like, "Hey, should I ask about Raffy Devers to see if he's down or if Boston's down to trade him?" And then it slowly snowballed. I mean, they were all on a group text, and Manassian gave them the thumbs up, and they were all good from there. And then, the interesting thing was Greg Johnson basically like letting Buster Posey know, like, this is your deal. Lead the way. I'm cool with it. I know I told you to shed salary at the beginning of the season, but now, if we're able to get a player of this magnitude, absolutely, I'm down to do it. And they also told the Red Sox, initially they were like, we want Bryce Eldridge, we want Carson Whisenhunt, and they were like, nope, not those guys. So they settled for Kyle Harrison. They settled for Tibbs, settled for the other prospect. And mainly the reason was because I guess they did shop a little bit around the league, and what came back to them was, we're willing to take on Raffy Devers in a trade, but not as a entire contract. And I think the Giants were the only team willing to do that. So Greg Johnson realized that and was like, well, I'm not waiting around then. I'm not waiting around till the trade deadline to get this done. We are the only team that are willing to do this for you. So we need an answer the next 2 weeks here. And then things stalled and then picked up again. But I'm just fascinated by the fact that the Giants, even though they're taking on the player, they had all the leverage to say, we're the only team willing to do this as far as taking on the contract. So you have to play ball on our terms. And if that means we give you, compensation that you're not loving, well, that's too bad. We're willing to accommodate you on the contract.
It was a veteran play by Posey, even though he's in his first year. What I do love, and the realization that we came to after we recorded that little, mini podcast episode on Sunday is really, if, say, a guy like Devers was a free agent, 29 years old, he's no longer under team control. He's unrestricted, so he can get that big money contract. Like 8 years, $250 million for him is not a steal, but I think that's for less value than you would have gotten him for if he was just a straight up free agent and you were just, trying to outbid another team. Like 8 years, $250+ million, I think is a great deal for this guy. And I don't know, I hope he is kind of like, David Ortiz, where he ages, sure, but that swing never goes away. That pure baseball swing. And it's one that Devers clearly has. Like, if you had to give me like the most pure swing, like I remember when Buster Posey first came up, and you're looking at just the two hands, the follow through. He was like the prototypical baseball swing that you would want to teach to little leaguers. And I think Devers kind of has that. Maybe not so much with the power that he swings with, trying to hit one into McCovey Cove with every at bat, at least with just the small sample size that we've had so far. Maybe not that, but just the pure baseball swing where he follows through, doesn't try to do anything too fancy, just tries to barrel it up. I love it. And I think that's the type of swing that's sustainable for him to be a DH for a long time. Oh my God, you are really delayed.
Yes. Yeah, I am. I'm going to leave the chat. I'm going to leave real quick and come back in. I apologize. My connection is horrible right now. I apologize. I'll be right back.
Hey, can you talk about the topic of Michael Jordan fans being the worst sports fans of all time? It's a good topic. I've tested it many times on my program, and lots of people get into it. It's interesting. The universe, galaxy, whoever you are, thank you for tuning in. Welcome. What's interesting is I am a millennial, I guess, is the way you'd put it. 32 years old, about to turn 32 years old in like less than a week, right? And when I was growing up, and rest in peace to this guy, but for me, I can't really get a gauge on like Michael Jordan fans and whether and how annoying they are. Because for me, growing up, if you had to go through my top like annoying fan bases, especially in the NBA, Kobe fans were what did it for me back in the day. Kobe fans were the ones that it was the worst. It was the absolute worst. One time, me and my buddy went to Oracle to watch the Warriors and Lakers, and I think this was in 2010. And you just had a bunch of people who didn't know anything about anyone on the Lakers except for Mr. Kobe Bean Bryant. And it's respectable. Respectable. But yeah, the Kobe Bryant fans are the ones that I could speak to. Rest in peace to the great Kobe, but those are the ones. That's interesting, though. Michael Jordan fans are the worst. I haven't heard that one. I hear LeBron fans. I hear there's not really so much a single player in the NFL. It's more just the Cowboys fans. I guess in baseball, it would be the Yankee fans. Who am I forgetting? I mean, I guess in basketball, it would be the Laker fan that are the number one annoying in all of sports too. So I don't know. I've never really heard the Michael Jordan fans ones as being the most annoying. I've actually thought the Michael Jordan fans are the ones that are most legit. The Hoopers. That's a new thing. If you don't know anything about basketball, you're not a real hooper. Real hoopers know this. Real hoopers know that. Real ballers know about this. If you know, you know. If you're a real hooper, if you know, you know. Post a video. Oh, man. Hopefully we get Derek back here. But look, I do think Tacky, football, the Raider fans. Yeah, you might be. We might be. We might be up there. I think a lot of that's changed since they left Oakland, though. I think a lot of that's changed because I feel like they lost a lot of the fan base. Could be wrong. How dare you? How dare you, Tacky? But no, just to kind of wait for Derek, and I'm sure he's like resetting his router and doing all this stuff. I think Devers, his computer has to update. Oh, Derek still has that photo of him trying to look hard as hell with Ice Cube. Can we just expand this real quick? Look at Derek. Derek's got the West Coast, no smile. I kind of have an embarrassing story from the night show once when I was working with Zach and Guru, but what's it called? Tracks a Million, rest in peace. He was in studio, and I tried taking that same type of picture where I tried to look hard. I look stupid. I still have that photo. Hair looks awful. I tried to look hard as hell, but it didn't work out. Okay. We will probably continue to talk Devers whenever Derek gets back, but what about the earthquakes going up for sale? I don't know, Ernie. Like, I don't really have much of a thought on that. It won't happen for a while because the last team that is like kind of like the earthquakes in hiring a bank to try and facilitate the sale. Last team to do that was Vancouver back in December. And they hired like Goldman Sachs to try to sell the team, and it didn't work yet. So they're still trying, and it's been 6 months. So this is probably going to take a while. Got to be honest. When I heard about this, I've been so like entrenched with Vegas relocation, Sacramento, all these different things. I totally forgot that John Fisher owned the Earthquakes, and I feel like he did too. There's someone like, hey, you still got another club in the Bay Area. You got to do something with it. All right, we'll just hire a bank. Let's get them to sell that club. They're on the rise, though. I highly recommend going to watch the Earthquakes. Bruce Arena has them on track. They had the worst recorded season in like the club's history last year. And now Bruce Arena has them like 8th in the Western Conference in Major League Soccer. A couple other things. Tacky, you talked about earlier current events, right? You talk current events instead of whatever we were going to talk about. If you want to talk current events, there's one thing that I sent to Derek, and we were more going to talk about it on Sunday, but since he's not here, I'm going to talk about it now. There is a Twitter account, an X account. And this is just so random, by the way. If anyone's just tuning in, like on X or Instagram, Derek's connection is out and he's trying to make his way back. His computer's updating. I don't know where it's at. But there's this Twitter account that's been making the rounds. It's called the Pentagon pizza tracker. And when there is an adjacent pizza spot, it tracks the adjacent pizza spots to the Pentagon. And when business is booming, when they see an uptick in pizza sales, that's when something crazy in the world is happening. And obviously, we have everything going on with Israel and Iran right now. And literally an hour before Israel put the airstrikes on Iran, literally an hour, the pizza sales had skyrocketed. So they've done that was just one example. They've done this going back to different events, in U.S. history. There's like a Pentagon pizza tracker. So follow that if you want to know if something crazy is going on in the world, specifically with war. Ugh. How are the Dodgers fans tacky? When I see them here in Oakland, they are the worst. That was from Pat H. Yeah, Dodgers fans. I got a few friends that are Dodgers fans, and they paint the Dodgers fan base in a positive light. But some of the ones that you see at Giants games are a little obnoxious. That's for sure. For the most part, it's cordial. It's fun. They're just trying to have fun with the rivalry, but some are clearly not there to watch the game, and they're just there to talk some shit and maybe get into a fight, which is wrong. Just absolutely wrong. What the hell's Derek? This is weird doing a solo podcast, especially when I'm live right now. Oh, he's back. He's back. Also, something else we're going to talk about on Sunday. Ozzy Osbourne and Liquid Death have a partnership where you can buy Ozzy Osbourne's backwash for $450 a pop. Oh, wait, you can't because they're sold out. We have Derek back on that note. Derek, are you here? Oh, boy.
I think so. You got me?
I hear you.
God, I apologize. My connection is totally awful tonight. Jesus Christ.
I don't know what the hell I was talking about.
You
I
have me?
was going on with the Pentagon Pizza Twitter. Oh boy. Do we need to cut this thing? Just go back to it on Sunday?
You got me, Steven?
I cannot hear you. You're very delayed. You're very slow.
You can't hear me at all?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. Man, we thought your connection was bad before the show started.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll try to manage. Hold on, let me see if I'm getting my bars back. Hang on. Yeah, I heard you talk about Pizza Tracker and
yeah, the Pentagon Pizza Tracker.
Israel and Iran going after each other,
Yes.
and
Yes,
Ozzy Osbourne backwash.
Yes, Ozzy Osbourne backwash. Mm-hmm.
Gotcha. Okay. Okay, I'm gaining steam. Hang on here. Maybe we're back. Hang on. Come on, give me that one last bar. Come on. We're almost there. Okay. All right. We'll see how long this lasts. Sorry to interrupt that thrilling thing you were discussing, Stephen. Maybe we get to more of that on Sunday.
I hope not.
Should we get to the NBA? Should we talk about?
I was just on my own, dude. I don't know what the hell I was talking about.
I know. I'm sorry. I'm sorry to leave you hanging. Okay, let's talk about the NBA Finals. Game 5 was on Monday, and the Thunder. I mean, it was looking like they were going to be down 3-1 before Game 5, and they came back in that game on Friday night. Were able to steal that win in the last few minutes to get the series tied up 2-2, and then get to Oklahoma City and on Monday night scoring 40 points. Now, Jesus Christ, my fucking connection tonight. Tyrese Halliburton strained his calf, wasn't effective, was 0 for 6. So I don't know what they're going to be able to do, if they're going to be able to come back in this series. I'm sure he's going to try to give it a go because the NBA Finals. You're trying to win a championship and tie the series up and have a Game 7 on Sunday. But I'm thinking that, and as I predicted, I think that the Thunder may wrap this thing up tomorrow. They need a whole hell of a lot from Pascal Siakam and Miles Turner, and I still think it's enough, and I think that the Thunder have figured things out. So much like the Warriors when they were up or down, actually, 2-1 to Boston a few years ago, and they won 3 straight, I think it's going to be the same deal with the Thunder.
Steve Kerr is just so right when he says what you need to make it far in the playoffs. You obviously got to knock down shots, but you need a little bit of luck, especially on the health side. And it's come back to not really come back. It is just officially haunted the Pacers because that Halliburton calf strain, it was clearly hindering him on Monday. Now, he was still effective in that he was creating gravity around him and kind of bringing the defense with him and opening things up for others. But I have a feeling that with the fact that it's a calf strain, like he literally said in his press conference, Derek, as long as I can walk, I will play in the finals. That was during his press conference. And you know what he does? He limps right off the podium, noticeably. Like, okay, you could walk, dude, but you could barely walk. So I don't know how the hell the Pacers are going to get it done. I'd be fascinated to see if they make it through, Game 6, man, because without Halliburton, who knows what this is going to look like. But as long as Shai Gilgeous-Alexander or Jalen Williams has a night like he had that night where he scores 40 and is just ruthless getting to the basket. By the way, he runs exactly like Sean Marion. They got like the same kind of hunchback thing. It reminds me so much of Sean Marion. Go back and watch highlights and you're like, oh my God, it's literally like watching him. Marion's a little more lengthy and might have been just a bigger dude, but as far as like the way that they run and the way that they move, very similar. But he was ruthless, man. It was cool to see him do what he was doing. And I don't know. It's hard to envision the Pacers making it past Game 6 because it felt like the injuries have really caught up to them. And Halliburton's been dealing with something, it feels like, for a lot of these playoffs. And this looks like the worst that it's been for sure.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it'd be fun to see a Game 7 come Sunday because I feel like with how much talk there's been about, these aren't, the creme de la creme when it comes to NBA franchises. And nowadays, if you are a big deal in the NBA, you trade the team away for $10 billion. We'll get to that in a little later. But just because of the small markets and the lack of star power. I mean, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander won the MVP, for Christ's sakes. And I know that he's not a household name really, but this has been entertaining. But yeah, I can't see this going 7. I would love to see it go 7, but with everything going on with the Pacers right now and Tyrese Halliburton's injury, I think that this probably ends tomorrow night. As far as everything else in the NBA, I alluded to it just a couple of seconds ago. I was shocked to see that the Buss family sold the majority stake of the Lakers away today for $10 million. So Jeannie Buss and the Buss family no longer owns that franchise for the first time since 1979. And this comes after a year ago where the Celtics sold their team. I forget who owns the Celtics, but that group or that family no longer owns that team. And
some group from the Bay Area, by the way.
Yeah, it's true. And I think it's just honestly, like I asked Mark Spears about that today, and he was like, I think it's just the offers they're getting these days. But I think it's more just these teams aren't getting revenue like they used to in the past. I think that regular season numbers are down, attendance is down. And if you have a premier franchise, if you have the Golden State Warriors, if you have the Boston Celtics, the Lakers, the Knicks, you need to make that money back for how much you put into the arena and all the attractions and whatnot. So I'm kind of surprised this is happening, but also not really given the state of regular season basketball. As far as the NBA in the postseason, it's electric. We all watch the games. Sometimes it's the majority of the time I think it's blowouts, but we're all going to watch. It's fun competitive basketball. We're not getting it though for a full 82 games. So that's the hard part. I think that's why some of these teams are up for sale. You've only seen it with the Celtics and you've seen it with the Lakers today. And if the Lakers are worth $10 billion, I wonder what the Warriors are worth at this point. But yeah, I can't say I'm really surprised, but also it's just like seeing these type of teams just sell for, absorbent amount of money, but at the same time, like, why are they doing this in the first place?
I just hope whoever purchases the Lakers loves basketball. That's all I hope for.
Well, it's the guy that owns the Dodgers right now, his group.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
So they're going to buy as many players as they can until they run the team into the ground. That'll be interesting.
Well, that's what they but dude, like that's what the Lakers always did, though.
Yeah, except I mean, they're working with a salary cap now, and the Dodgers never have. I mean, they're just going to go well into that luxury tax and the second apron. I don't know if it's just the NBA as a whole as to why buses. I mean, you're probably right in why other teams are being sold the way they are. But as far as why Genie Buses sold the team, I mean, where else is there to go when you had Kobe Bryant and Shaquille O'Neal, Magic Johnson, and you won as Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, and you won as many championships as you won with them over the years. And now you have a guy like LeBron James, and even though it's the bubble championship, they still have a ring. Where else is there to go? Like if
with Luka though.
Yeah, okay, I guess. But after LeBron, I just think you're kind of like, I've had it. Like, let someone else take over and try to build this thing, especially knowing that his career is coming to an end.
Yeah, I get that, Steven, but the next generation for the Lakers will be Luka Doncic, and I know that, we make fun of his lack of defense in the postseason, but that's their goal, is for them to build a team around him and win multiple championships with him. He's the face of the franchise going forward.
Sure, but they really going to have to start building from it. Like, dude, once LeBron, like they lost in the first, the first round this year.
Yeah,
like,
in 5.
They were done. I mean, what is there to do? What else is there to do? I'd say let someone else take over, and just continue the Lakers' legacy that way. Like, I'm not surprised that the Bus family has kind of sold their stake.
Yeah, no, I hear you. And I think that Jeannie Buss was kind of getting frustrated with LeBron James kind of taking over as the figure of the franchise. Like,
yeah,
like he's dictating who the coach is, his son is drafted, and that's kind of what happens sometimes when you have a superstar. Like, they definitely made accommodations for Magic Johnson back in the day, or Shaquille O'Neal, or Kobe Bryant, but it's different when you're like an outsider. Like, those guys were drafted by the organization, except for Kobe Bryant, but he was traded shortly afterwards. It's kind of weird, like LeBron James to come in and be like, "I'm running things now," and Genie's like, "We're always going to be the Lakers. We've been running shit for 40 years in LA. You just come along now, and just different." So, yeah, it's surprising, but also I'm not surprised with. I don't know. Like, I'm going back and forth with this. Like, I don't know what to think. Like, it's interesting that these high caliber NBA franchises are being sold off, and it's the appropriate amount of money. $10 billion sounds about right for the Lakers. You're just wondering, like, why can't they maintain that? Why do they need to sell that off? And it might be the offers. It might be they're just tired of, running NBA franchises and the contracts that come with it. Or it might just be that they're not getting enough back in their pocket because no one's showing up to NBA regular season games. And I'm being facetious. They are, but it's not the numbers that we've seen in the past, and players are doing load management. It's just not the same. So,
no,
yeah, it's interesting.
And you are taking me back to something Mark Cuban said. They really are selling when they think the product is inevitably going to decline. Like, it's literally the saying, buy low, sell high. And they feel like this is as high as they're going to sell because values can go down. I know the league just came up with a new TV deal, and I'm not going to act like some business expert, but I think there is a point to be made with that. Maybe there is something that these business people are seeing where they're just like, you know what, it's not going to be valuable for you to keep this franchise. You might as well take the money now, just go and live your life, make some donations, buy a house in Italy. I don't know, dude. Like what do rich people do? Go to restaurants.
More than that, buy expensive cars, live luxurious lives, and bathe in caviar. That's a good life, Steven.
Yeah, just throw rolls of dollar bills into people's faces as you're walking down the street. I don't know.
Yeah. By the way, the Giants just cut the lead to 2 with a Elliot Ramos home run, a 2-run blast. So 4-2 now in the bottom of the 5th.
He's been so good.
He has been good. You think right now, if they had to go all stars, it's probably Devers now, Webb, Ray, and Ramos.
I'd say those would be the top 4. It would have been Randy Rodriguez previously, but I think his numbers kind of went down. So, yeah, I'd say it would be those 4. And Ramos, I mean, if you're a 2-time All-Star, absolutely when he's contender and they're out of team, he's a contender for a new contract when he's out of team control, whenever that is.
Yeah. Staying on the NBA real quick. The big talk right now is we're a week away from the NBA draft, and we'll probably do a show next week while the draft's going on because besides Cooper Flag, not a lot of big names. And the really big thing leading up to the draft is Kevin Durant and where he's going. And the latest is he's got preferred destinations. He really wants to go to the San Antonio Spurs. He played basketball in college at Austin and at UT, not that far away from San Antonio. He's got Victor Wembanyama. He's got De'Aaron Fox, Stephon Castle. They got the number 2 overall pick. Well, they're probably not going to keep all those guys if Kevin Durant comes over, you would think. His other preferred destinations are the Miami Heat and the Houston Rockets. And to me, if he went to the Heat, they would pretty much have to gut the team. Like, there's not a lot on that team in the first place. So they have to get rid of Andrew Wiggins or, I don't know, like Kevin Durant with Bam Adebayo and Tyler Hero, not that big of an upgrade. I mean, like, Kevin Durant's awesome, but, like, I don't think they're challenging anybody in the East with that team. With the Houston Rockets, we talked about it, Steven. If he goes to Houston, he's playing with – they probably have to get rid of Jalen Green. He's playing with Şengün and Steven Adams and Amen Thompson, but not a lot of offense on that team. So I feel like he would get frustrated real quick with like, I have to be the guy every night to score 40 points and everybody else not picking up the slack. But maybe he does like that because the place that makes the most sense to me is Minnesota. And he doesn't want to go there for whatever reason. Anthony Edwards talks glowingly about him, how he looks up to him and wants to play with him. And they've lost the Western Conference Finals the last 2 seasons. They need to make some move to get them over the hump. I think Kevin Durant would be the perfect guy. But for whatever reason, he's not into the idea of playing with Anthony Edwards and going to Minnesota. And, I asked Mark Spears about this too, and he kind of alluded to the fact that it's just too cold in Minnesota, or he may not be the guy because Anthony Edwards is already there, kind of like how he felt when Steph Curry was the guy with the Warriors, and he had to come along, and he's a more of a hired gun and assassin, and not really felt like he's beloved by the fan base. But I don't know, man. Like I think it's easy, and it sounds like Minnesota is offering the most. They might have to give up Rudy Gobert. They might have to give up Julius Randle. And if I was the Phoenix Suns, after a while, I'm not waiting around for Kevin Durant to be okay with what he wants to do. I understand, like, he's 37 and you want to accommodate him this late in his career, but also fuck that. Like, we're not doing a Damian Lillard thing where he sabotaged every team that wanted to draft for him. And in the end, he willingly went to Milwaukee, even though he told his agent, tell everybody else, I don't want to play for anybody but Miami. If you're Kevin Durant, I understand you want to go to San Antonio, but it sounds like San Antonio is not willing to give good compensation for that move. So if I was Phoenix, I'd be like, Kevin, it's not like we're sending you to Siberia. We're sending you to Minnesota. This team is really good, and we want the good compensation in return. So after a while, I would tell Phoenix, or I would tell Kevin Durant, sorry, dude, but this is the best deal on the table.
Yeah, but there's also got to be something with the Timberwolves system where he doesn't feel like he can flourish, right? Like, it's all about system. Maybe he sees something there where it's just like, I don't know where my fit would be. Like, he's a basketball savant. I think he knows better than us what would work for him. I mean, it's interesting that you say he might get frustrated with Rockets if he's the only guy scoring. I think he wants it that way. I mean, I think he wants to be the only guy that scores 40 every night, and just the team rides or dies with him as the leading guy. Like,
but you
know
what?
Get frustrated.
I get that, but at this point in his career, and it wouldn't make sense because Houston's further away from Austin, but I don't know if he cares that much about going back to Austin or whatnot. San Antonio makes the most sense. I get it, but they're not on the same timeline as him. They're still trying to grow the team. And they don't want to give up Stephon Castle. They don't want to give up De'Aaron Fox. They don't want to give up all of, the future that they have. They're not trying to really win the championship right now. They're just trying to figure themselves out as a team. They got this, not rookie head coach, because he pretty much coached most of the season with Greg Popovich dealing with heart issues, or stroke actually. But they're now ready to just go all in and win a championship right now. They still got to see, let's see Victor Wembanyama for, he's played 2 seasons now, but he was gone for a good deal of time with that blood clot.
Sure.
With the Houston Rockets, yeah, I get it. But with Minnesota, I understand, Kevin Durant may not fit the scheme and he wants to be the guy. At this point in his career, who cares? Just try to win a championship. You try to be, try to build super teams in Brooklyn and Phoenix. Why not just go to a good situation? Why not be second fiddle to Anthony Edwards? Is that big of a deal? You can help him out. He'll help you out. I don't understand why he's so opposed to that, and maybe the scheme and whatnot. But I think when the same thing when
hang on,
people question how is Raffy Devers going to be
hang
used?
on, Jesus Christ! Good God, man!
I'm sorry, I just don't know when I'm going to get knocked off from my Wi-Fi. Sorry, go ahead.
What's up with this thing with Minnesota, man? You're offended that he doesn't want to go to Minnesota.
I just think it's crazy between the 4 teams why he's so opposed to going to that team. If I was saying, why would I go to Miami? And I know Miami's a beautiful place, but I don't think you're going to win there. It's same thing with the Rockets. I just don't see championship contenders. With the Minnesota Timberwolves, they've been on the doorstep the last 2 seasons.
I guess so, but you'd also got to wonder what they would give up for him. If the Rockets, you're probably keeping a majority. Hang on, I got to close the window. If you're the Rockets, you're probably keeping a majority of your players, and you could just give up Jalen Green and then whatever draft picks can go along with it. That would be the other guy, I guess, if you had to choose a number 2 player in Houston. But I don't even know why I'm making the argument for Houston, because I don't think he's going to go to Houston. You're saying San Antonio is not ready to win right now. You don't know that if they add Kevin Durant. That could open up everything for them. It really could. And I know you talk about them having a fairly young coach, but I would think I don't know. I understand why he doesn't want to go to Minnesota. That's just kind of where I'm at. I get it, because there's just something within that offense, man, that he just doesn't like. Maybe he knows that they wouldn't get rid of Rudy Gobert if he went over there, and he doesn't want to play with Rudy. I don't know what it would be, but I don't really blame him for that. It's pretty. I don't really care where he goes, but guess I'm not too surprised that he turned it down.
I don't know. I think that, I don't know. It's just weird to me. I don't think Kevin Durant, he's an established player, obviously. He's a future Hall of Famer. But to me, you're 37 years old, going to be 38. I don't think you can just keep calling shots. I love how NBA players be well, just trade me to the team that I want to go to. Yeah, but then if it's not good return, then why would the Suns do this deal in the first place? So yeah, I just don't like the move to the Rockets. San Antonio, I would like a lot, but I'm only saying they're not ready to win because that's the reports that come out, that they're not on the same timeline as Kevin Durant. They're well, hold up. We don't want to give up the farm to get you. We want to have Stephon Castle. We don't want to give up all these pieces so you come along, and then there's championship expectations, and we're not ready for that yet. So I understand that standpoint from the San Antonio Spurs. Kevin Durant could have a very good reason why he doesn't want to go to Minnesota. But I just think it's a smart move basketball-wise to win a championship.
But you're also, you also said you're asking kind of where's the Durant leverage has to choose where he wants. This is how it's been in the NBA, man. Player empowerment. It's what Adam Silver has pushed for. If he doesn't want to go to this place, then it's just, I don't really get it. And I've never really understood like the ins and outs of it and how players can just go where they please. Like it's never made sense to me. But hey, if he goes to Miami, he can go join the guy who doesn't believe in any history before 1950.
A real thing?
Yeah.
Think so?
Yeah, but I don't think he dropped 100.
Are
you serious?
No, I'm dead ass.
Wait, so you don't believe in shit that happened like 200 years ago?
The moon
No,
landing.
hell no.
Wait, really?
What about the moon landing?
No, I don't believe in that.
Oh.
I don't believe
That was
anything
after
that happened before 1950.
Wait.
Wait, now I'm thinking.
Nah.
Have you been fucking bamboozled?
No. Like, okay. Like, do you think the Earth's flat?
That has nothing to do with that, bro. What the fuck?
All right, now we need to just turn that off. Like that's just annoying.
To be young and stupid.
Yeah,
So basically,
Doesn't
Tyler
even-
Hero wasn't paying attention in history class.
doesn't believe in any history before 1950.
It's not some conspiracy theory. There was history before 1950. Things
Correct.
happened.
He doesn't believe in any of it, Eric. I
Well,
don't know if
that's
he was
just a-
kidding or not.
Yeah, that might be the leader in the clubhouse for my jackass of the week. Although I'm sure I'll find something bigger than that.
You sure you're not going to take solitaire Stephen A?
You know, are we surprised by that? Like really, like when it comes to hot take shows, all these guys, Nick Wright, Stephen A. Smith, even Colin Cowherd, these guys don't watch the games. They have their producers map it out for them, and then they get a rundown, and then they figure out their takes from there. I know Stephen A. Smith, he's been a basketball journalist. He was a basketball journalist. I don't know what he is now, but he's a performer, basically. But please, like, he doesn't give a damn about this series. He knows that, let's rip on Tyrese Halliburton because he's hurt. It's easy to say, like, he didn't perform tonight.
Yeah.
He wants to be a superstar. Everyone's talking about how it's disrespectful that he's overrated in the athletic poll. Well, I say it's accurate because he didn't show up tonight. I don't give a damn if he's hurt or not. I'm not shocked whatsoever that he was playing solitaire during an NBA Finals game between the Pacers and the Thunder. If it was the Knicks and the Warriors or the Lakers, he'd be all in. That's my thing.
Not really.
You don't think so?
Oh no, I know so. I know so. But still, like it's public knowledge. Like, come on, Stephen A. Like it's public that you're playing solitaire. You're doing that right in the open. Like, do that in the back. Do that in the media room. Be like Brian Windhorst and just do like some endorsement for YouTube TV as well as your stats guys. By the way, they have some guy whose last name is Schwartz and they call him Schwartz Center. It's badass.
Okay.
It's random. But Brian Windhorst did this whole video about how he was watching Monday's game in the media room in Oklahoma City instead of being out there. So he could listen to the broadcast and kind of get the television view from it. He said it's hard to concentrate with all the noise going on in that arena, which I kind of get. So he watches it in the media room and he has his stats guys with him. And one of them's nickname is Schwartz Center.
Nice. Well, I'm glad I got the backstory now.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You must believe in the power of the Schwartz. I'm sure there's a bunch of Spaceball references that they make when he's
Correct.
working with him.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I mean, I get that. Working in the green room, you get a better feel for what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, we'll see what happens with Kevin Durant. I think that will probably come to a head before the draft, because the Phoenix Suns need to know what their draft capital is before they make picks. And I didn't know this. I didn't know that trades could be official before the post or the offseason starts. Like, you can have trades be official during the fucking NBA Finals, like the Desmond Bane trade. I'm not so much surprised by the compensation, even though it's kind of ridiculous. What was it? It was you got
4
Cole
first-round
Anthony.
picks.
Cole Anthony, though, Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, and 4 first-round picks for Desmond Bane. So he's going to Orlando. Those guys are going to Memphis. And this is just, kind of how I'm sure this is kind of what led to Taylor Jenkins being fired. Like the whole thing we were talking about with Tom, where the GMs are calling the shots, and this is how I want to construct the team. And if the head coach differs from my vision, then you're out of here. And they fell during the regular season, and they were the 7th seed. And yeah, they want to retool a little bit, build the team around John Morant and Jaren Jackson. But yeah, Desmond Bane, good player, not worth 4 first-round picks, but also I think that kind of in the NBA, we don't. I mean, in the NFL, they value draft picks. In the NBA, not really. You just kind of throw them around. Like I don't think it's the same deal. But yeah, I wouldn't say that Desmond Bane's a player that garners 4 first-round picks. Regardless, I did not know that you can make a trade official while the NBA Finals are going on. Like, like we've seen Super Bowl trades where Matthew Stafford went to the LA Rams, or, Alex Smith got traded to the Chiefs or the Commanders. But those trades weren't official until the new league year started. I'm surprised that the Desmond Bane trade is already official. He's got the jersey on, and we're still playing in the NBA Finals.
Yeah. Got the pinstripes and everything. Yeah, I don't know what to make of it. I think Desmond Bane's a really good player. So maybe it'll work out. Maybe it won't. I don't know. We could see it where it's mutual instead of like, because if you look at that return, you'd think that the Magic got fleeced, but I don't know. I really don't know. Yeah, I'm seeing a lot of confusion about it because, Paolo Banchero is like not a frontline starter. I'm kind of seeing that argument when I'm like, I disagree. I think he is. And we've always talked about how the Magic need more shooting. Is that going to happen in this year's draft? Are they just going to automatically get another shooter? No. So they're really investing a lot to get a guy who can give you like damn near 50, 40, 90 every season. It's not quite that. He'll give you like, 47, 39, and 90, which is still solid.
Yeah. Who do you think got the better compensation, though? I guess the Grizzlies over the Boston Red Sox. And if we're comparing the Desmond Bane trade to the Raffy Devers trade, which is ridiculous, but let's do it.
I would probably say the Red Sox got better compensation because they got, I think, Jordan Hicks and Kyle Harrison have more, I guess, upside than Cole Anthony and Kentavious Caldwell Pope do in the NBA. Obviously, there's 4 first-round picks, but I mean, you're trading prospects essentially that instead of picks, and you don't really know what you're going to get with those picks. James Tibbs looks like he could be a pretty good player. So I might say the Red Sox because of the uncertainty around the Magic compensation.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just being funny, but I would say honestly, yeah, I would say probably Memphis, because if you're the Red Sox, like I understand, there's potential in Kyle Harrison and Jordan Hicks. Well, Jordan Hicks has been an established player, but prospects, I don't know. Like if I was the Red Sox, and I know we just detailed everything that went down with the trade and how the Giants really had more leverage than we thought because of their ability to take on all the salary, but I don't know. I don't think that the Red Sox got all that they could have, but I think that the Magic overpaid to get Desmond Bane. That's my 2 cents. But
Okay.
just comparing like midseason trades, when you look at the Raffy Devers trade compared to Christian McCaffrey or Jimmy Butler, you see now like 3 front office executives, 3 former players, and Mike Dunleavy Jr., Buster Posey, and John Lynch. Which trade do you think is going to pan out the best for all 3 guys, or have the bigger impact, I should say?
Reiterate that one more time.
Between the Christian McCaffrey trade, the Jimmy Butler trade, and the Raffy Devers trade, which one do you think is going to have the biggest impact on their team?
Jesus. Sports radio topic, huh?
Yeah, I know. It's easy to do. Bay Area mid-season trades.
I pass because it's a hypothetical that's just the non-conversation to me. Like, I don't know. Christian McCaffrey already took him to a Super Bowl and turned him into like the best offense in the NFL. So that trade has already panned out better than these 2 probably will. I don't know. Like that's a hypothetical we'll never know until years down the line.
No, 100%. You are right. The way that I think, though, I'm looking at it is we have no idea what Raffy Devers is going to do with the Giants. as far as on the field. But I think his
Sure.
impact has already been felt as far as how the Giants are not relevant, but respectable again. Like
Yeah.
the 49ers just got to the Super Bowl 3 years before they made that Christian McCaffrey trade. So they were threats in the NFC. But, they were building on something. They got to the NFC Championship game and lost to the Rams. That season, Christian McCaffrey got them to the NFC Championship game, but Brock Purdy got hurt. So they were established, but Christian McCaffrey put them over the edge.
That's that's the thing is like those two trades are different in that they have maintained the perennial playoff contender status of their respective teams. Like Christian McCaffrey helped keep the 49ers afloat, obviously, along with Brock Purdy and the other pieces. And you saw that with Jimmy Butler and the Warriors, and he's kind of just the last ditch effort to keep whatever championship hopes they might have alive with Steph Curry. But the Giants, they're back to being I guess they're just taken seriously again. And I think that's something that, that those other guys didn't do. It's not like McCaffrey and Jimmy Butler went to teams that have just stunk, who have just been off the radar really, around Major League Baseball for a long time. So it's very different, with the impact there. And so I don't think you're going to be able to tell for a while with Devers because, felt like those moves were kind of, hey, we're in it to win right now. That's why we're making these trades. Whereas the Devers move is not so much just a short-term, but a long-term move. So you probably have to give it to McCaffrey, but I think it's too early to tell with Devers.
Yeah, I guess saying the biggest impact would be the wrong way to go about it. I guess the way that I look at it as I was saying with McCaffrey, like he had a huge impact right away because that team was good. With the Warriors, yeah, Jimmy Butler coming along changed their season. They were floundering. They were 10th in the Western Conference. I think they weren't going to make the play-in even if they did not acquire Jimmy Butler. But the Warriors were established. They had Steph Curry and Klay Thompson and Draymond Green, and they won 4 championships. They're just trying to, get back to where they were prior. With Raffy Devers, this makes the Giants respectable again in the Bay Area, where I could be wrong, but I think for the last 10 to 8 years or 8 to 10 years, they have been overshadowed by the star power that the Warriors have and what the 49ers have. And last night you saw it. Like I wasn't at the ballpark last night, but from what people tell me, it felt like the old days of when they were winning, 3 World Series in 2010 and 2012 and 2014. And I think that people were excited in 2021, but I think people also knew that it was kind of fool's gold. Like this wasn't really a legit team. Like even though they won 107 games, there's really nobody to look to be like, this is going to be the future of the team besides Logan Webb. This guy comes from Boston. He's won a World Series, 3-time All-Star. He brings something different and he's a professional hitter. He's probably the biggest acquisition they've had since Barry Bonds. So to me, this kind of makes the Giants relevant and respectable again, where things like, it's funny enough that this trade goes down the same weekend of the 10-year anniversary of the Warriors winning in 2015, where I thought that's where things flipped, where the Giants were getting older and the Warriors were on the come. I kind of feel like that's the way things are going right now, where the Giants now could take that next step, maybe not this year, but next year, and then the Warriors are slowly declining. So that's where I think like Christian McCaffrey and Jimmy Butler will have a more immediate impact on their teams, but for the long haul, Raffy Devers will impact the Giants franchise in a different way.
Yeah. I mean, but you're also using trades. Like if we had to talk about the move that made the biggest impact among those 3 teams, I would argue that it was picking Brock Purdy last overall. If we're talking about like what's made the biggest impact with those 3, at least
no, of course, but I'm comparing those two. I'm just comparing those 2 other trades because it's easy to do because they were midseason trades, and now you have superstars on, the 49ers and Warriors, and now the same thing happened with the Giants. So it's just an easy comparison to make. But as we do in sports talk radio, we compare sports when we really shouldn't. It makes no sense.
We had Joey Lucchese on.
But I do want to bring a little.
Hang on,
sorry,
real quick. we had Joey LaCasey on in the top of the 7th, and my mom sent a photo from when we used to play travel ball back in the day.
This is your boy.
This is the boy. This is the dude. I'm on the left. He's on the top fence right there. There's kind of an overlay.
Oh, nice. That's
Scrappers,
adorable.
dude. Yeah, always got the ices and the Doritos, man. Wild times.
Was your mom the team mom, always bringing like Capri Suns?
No, there wasn't really a team mom on that travel team. Had a lot of fun playing. That was in Fremont, but normally played at Twin Creeks. It was good times.
Nice.
Anyway,
well, that's pretty awesome. Where we at in the game? Is it still 4-2?
yeah, it's bottom of the 7th. Giants can't get a hit. And they only got 4 of them. They had problems with runners in scoring position last night, and they can't even get a runner in scoring position in this game. So that sucks.
Damn. Let's move over to something I've been waiting for in the NFL. And I know that you all scream when I talk NFL this time of year, but damn it, we got some news today. Jair Alexander signed with the Baltimore Ravens, 1-year contract for $6 million. I think it's $4 million, but $2 million in incentives that he can make. And this comes a day after where Lamar Jackson, during mini camps, was like, I really want my former college teammate to join me, so Eric DeCosta get the deal done, and they did. And he could have got better offers elsewhere, but he signs with the Baltimore Ravens, which makes a lot of sense. Their secondary's loaded now. They got him. They got Marlon Humphrey. They got Nate Wiggins. They got Malik Starks, I believe his name is, from Georgia. They got Kyle Hamilton. So this Ravens secondary is loaded right now. So, well, there you go. Just a little football talk, Steve. I think it's a pretty good move for the Ravens to get Jair Alexander.
I feel like John Harbaugh is going to get real frustrated with him at some point.
As long as he doesn't make him team captain and he goes, as long as he does make him team captain and he knows he's going to be out there, but he has to know the rules of when you win the coin toss and you say, I want to defer instead of saying, we're going to play defense. I watched that the other day where he's in the locker room and he's talking to the reporters and they're like, do you know what you did out there and why it was wrong and everything? He's like, I mean, the referees knew what I was doing. They didn't think it was pretty obvious what I was asking. I just wanted to, defer, have the defense out there. I didn't use the right terminology, but who cares?
I hope he
Jesus.
plays well.
No,
I really
games that way.
I really hope he plays well because when he's playing well, he's super cocky and he's hilarious during the season. So here's to just hoping he plays well so he can be his cocky self. Because I don't think he does. I don't think he talks. I don't think he talks when he can't back it up. So, but when he's talking, it's so entertaining. So here's to success for Jair Alexander and keeping us entertained through the season. Mm-hmm.
Yes, and he's entertaining. I do remember, what was it, the game against the Miami Dolphins, where he was like doing the post game interview on the field, and he was like, "Oh man, so I was covering the guy, and I was step for step with him, and then boom, I stopped in front of him, and then I caught the ball, and I was like, blah."
It's stupid. I love it.
He's one of the more fun interviews in all the NFL. So, that deal gets done today. So there's more dominoes, that'll happen in this NFL offseason where Jalen Ramsey's going to go, all of these contracts. And I know I'll wait till training camp time where that gets rectified. So don't worry. I'm not gonna bore you guys with all my football talk. That's why AJ Cruz and Rockin' New Era left us, apparently. But real quick, I did want to play this sound. So we and Steven talked about it the day it happened, where Henry Ruggs was arrested for a DUI, and in the process, correct me if I'm wrong, Steven, he killed a woman and her dog when he crashed his car, correct?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So he's been in prison since, and I don't know how long the sentence is. I want to say 10 years, maybe less. But do you have that video, Steven, of him talking to, I guess, a seminar or whatever? I'm not really sure what this is, but I'm sure this is in Las Vegas. And he talks about, that unfortunate night where he made that bad decision and just everything that's happened since in his life. And I I'm not sure where this is taking place. I know it's in Vegas, but not sure who he's talking to. But he just reflects on the horrible night that he had.
One that I wish I could turn back the hands of time. I would love for them to meet the real Henry Ruggs and not the one that was escaping from something. You know, I sincerely apologize for not only being a part of that situation, but the fact that, you know, not to take a shot at you, but the fact that my face is always in the news. My face is always in the newspaper, so they have to constantly be reminded of the situation, be reminded of me, and see, you know, those memories have to continue to rise because of all of the fame and notoriety that I have, which I never asked for, I never liked. And, you know, so I would just tell them that, you know, like I said, I deeply apologize for just being a part of that. And I wish that they could meet the real Henry Ruggs and not one who was just running away from everything.
What did you make of that, Stephen?
I mean, he sounds like he's remorseful, but it also sounds like he wants to make like a comeback in the NFL. And I am one who is for second chances, but I'm also like, again, like he does seem remorseful, and he does have regret. He did word it in a weird way where he's like, I hate that I was a part of that. It's like, no, you created that. Like, you're not a part of that. You are that situation. And I don't know, I'm not going to sit here and be like this guy who's going to teach lessons, but I don't know, just from my perspective, if I'm just like sharing my opinion on a comeback for him, it feels like playing in the NFL is, you know, kind of a privilege. In a way, even though these guys have worked their entire lives to get to where they're at and they've had to earn it. But a lot of guys also need, you know, a lot of athletes have had just horrible luck in their career to where you couldn't do anything professionally. And so I don't know if he has the right to that privilege anymore after that mistake. And it's not just a mistake. I mean, he killed someone and their dog, and it's changed their lives forever. And you know, he says, I'm all in the news and they're seeing me all over the news. And how does that make them feel? And he's thinking about them. Like, what are you seeing his face? Well, it's like, what are they going to think when they see him potentially scoring touchdowns again? Like, how would the family feel then? So I'm not going to be the one, obviously, to make the decision. But from my perspective, I would think that's a little unfair that he could return to the NFL where you can, you know, make millions of dollars and get the limelight, the fame, and all of that sort of stuff. And I don't know. I don't think he wants to go through that because it's just going to be nonstop. Like, for instance, when I know this isn't the same thing at all, but when Manti Te'o got to the league, all that was talked about was what happened his senior year at Notre Dame. And we all know what happened there during the Untold documentary. Like, these things follow you. The same thing with Deshaun Watson. This thing is going to follow him for the rest of his career. And I don't know if it's the best thing for him to go back into the NFL, really. Like, I think that'd be really tough mentally for him.
Of course it would be, but I think, you know, spending 10 years of your life in a prison cell could also be tough mentally to you. But at the same time, you know, taking people's lives away could be hard on you mentally, especially for the family that has to endure that. I'm all for second chances. I think that, you know, we, in our society today, we're kind of quick to get rid of people for one mistake. And I don't think Henry Ruggs had a history of anything on his rap sheet when it comes to criminal activity. Not that I'm aware of. It sounds like this was just one bad night, and it was a horrendous night. He made a horrible decision, and this is something that maybe players in Las Vegas are going to deal with the gambling and, you know, the
Temptation.
alcohol. Yeah, temptation, alcohol, whatever it is, that you got to be overly smart. And wherever you are, it doesn't matter if you're Las Vegas or wherever, like, I don't condone drunk driving at all. So, you know, him, you know, going however fast he was, like, it was ridiculously fast. and he killed somebody. He killed a woman and her dog. And, I don't know how he shakes that image. You're right, Steven. If he did come back in the NFL, I'm sure he probably has the talent to do so. He's still very young. Like Michael Vick got a second chance, very different situation. Plaxico Burress got a second chance, again, a very different situation. But this is something entirely different. But I don't think he's a bad guy. I think he just made a horrible decision one night. But yeah, like if he did come back to the NFL, like I'm sure like people are gonna be like, well, how it is a privilege. Who's he to come back and get millions of dollars to perform? He probably won't get millions of dollars. He'd probably get a base contract, probably be on a practice squad somewhere and have to prove himself all over again. But, the NFL also, is very forgiving when you can play still. So if he still has that speed, I wouldn't be the least bit surprised if he did come back. However, the way that he speaks there, and we're just getting one clip, so I don't think this is kind of unfair to judge it by just this one clip. But the way that he's talking, I really wish we got the whole thing, because just from that one clip alone, and this is probably wrong to do, it sounds like he's kind of going, woe is me a little bit, where I want you guys to meet the real me, and I'm tired of people. He didn't say I'm tired, but he said, like, I'm always in the news. You're not always in the news. You were in the news 4 years ago when you did this. And I'm sorry, but this is all we can judge you on right now. We can't judge you on the person you were before this or the football player you were. Unfortunately, it's what have you done for me lately, and what you've done for us lately is unfortunately drive drunk, kill somebody, and now you're being punished for it, which he should have been. So again, I know I'm judging him off of this one comment he made at a seminar, but he is kind of coming across like, I just want people to, kind of forget what I did. Not that he's saying I want you to forget, but like, I want to move on from this. I think the best course of action to do is to be like Michael Vick or Chad Johnson. Like Michael Vick, when he got arrested for dogfighting, he came back and he was completely remorseful. He's been open and honest about it. He said, I was fucking dumb. I was terrible. I ordered people to murder dogs, and there's no coming back from that. I have to earn the respect of everybody involved. I have to do work with, dogs that need help out there. Even though PETA may hate him to this day still, he's doing everything he can to prove everybody wrong. Same thing with Chad Johnson. I've seen him in interviews where we all know, 13 years ago when he's with the Miami Dolphins, he had a horrible night where he headbutted his wife. And since that time, he's been very honest in being like, I will never get the benefit of the doubt ever in my life again. I know that. I don't earn that. I don't have that respect anymore. And I shouldn't get that respect anymore because I made a horrible decision one night, and that will follow me the rest of my life. I will try to live my life. I will try to tell my children not to do what I did. And I will try to have a healthy relationship with somebody else down the line. But it is completely fair to judge me for that for the rest of my life. Mm-hmm. I think this, Henry Ruggs needs to have that same mentality where, yes, it sucks that people remember him for one terrible night, but it is fair. And if he takes that attitude, then I think it will go a long way. But it's a very hard situation to feel for him, but also acknowledge the horrible thing that he did 4 years ago.
Right. And this is news to me when I heard this, that he was, quote unquote, running away from something. By all accounts, like when he was with the Raiders, he didn't seem to have any off-field issues from the way that Carr talked about him to Greg Olson, who finally unlocked him, at least on the field. And, finally, started throwing him the football and actually, getting deep for touchdowns and whatnot. I didn't know he was running away from something, which that does sound like you're trying to get something from someone there. You're trying to convince the people you were in a bad place. I don't think, obviously we don't know what anyone's going through. We don't know the battles that people are going through, the personal battles. But it's just hard to imagine there. And I think that's what made it as, God, what's the word I'm looking for? I mean, for lack of a better term, that's what made it so surprising. You're like, what, Henry Ruggs? Like, what the hell? Like, that happened? Like,
Yeah.
no, this guy was a first round pick. This guy was meant to be like the next great wide receiver for the Raiders. This guy's meant to be the next Tim Brown, blah, blah, blah. In this draft where you got Jerry Jeudy and CD Lamb, like this guy is meant to be up there with the best caliber of wide receiver. And then he just goes and does something like that. Yeah, I don't want to call that an excuse because, again, you don't know the personal demons or whatever you want to call them that people are struggling with. But at the end, you were running away so fast that you decided you needed to go 150 miles an hour on the way home. Like, I don't know, man. I don't know. And again, like, I'm not going to rule. I'm not going to be the guy who rules like a comeback for him, but I really do think that playing in the NFL, I think a lot of these athletes will find that it's a privilege, and there's only you got 53 man rosters. You got, 32 teams or whatever it is, 30 teams. I can't even remember the number of teams anymore.
32 teams.
32. I always get them mixed up with every league. And, you got 32 teams, you got 53-man rosters, and then that number shrinks when you just take the amount of, say, wide receivers per each team. I just think you're taking up a spot when you've kind of ruined that opportunity by making this one dumb mistake. I'm not saying you shouldn't get a second chance in life. I just think the NFL is a little too much.
Yeah, no, I agree with that too. Whatever happens, if he comes back in the NFL, I support it. I believe in second chances, but at the same time, I think he needs to be, again, I'm listening to a snippet of a full interview he's doing, but I think he needs to be a little more remorseful than focusing on, I guess, himself. But then again, he could be doing that for all we know. We're only getting one portion of, him speaking in public. So hopefully he's learned for the better. And all you could do is just hope people, can accept you for the person you are today, but you also have to be accepting that people will never forgive you for what you did. Even though it happened once, all it takes is one night for people to look at you differently for the rest of your life.
Yep.
All right. And congratulations to the Panthers for winning the Stanley Cup last night. I know. Weird transition, but it's been a weird show with all the technical difficulties. I was hoping that series would go 7 as well. I was rooting for Edmonton too because you and I were talking about there hasn't been a Canadian team to win the Stanley Cup since you were born, Steven, in 1993.
Yeah, before
Connor
I was born,
McDavid. Exactly. And Connor McDavid's the face of the league, so it's 2 years in a row now that he's lost the biggest series of his life. But, I like Paul Maurice. Did you have any fun? Did you find anything, Steven, sound-wise of him being his usual explicit self?
No, this is where he gets kind of sentimental and reflects and is more serious. He's not kind of joking. I mean, he's been joking through the series, but after these wins, you don't really get the funny stuff. You more get the serious stuff. And what's serious, and it reminds me a lot of the Warriors, not in the sense that they have, one of the greatest players in the sport's history, nothing like that. But Matthew Tkachuk kind of alluded to it during the he took a shot at the Oilers actually during their little post-championship celebration, which is in this place called the Elbow Room in Miami, ELBO. Brian Baldinger's there. Check out a video. And doing a Baldy's breakdowns from the Elbow Room.
Okay.
And he said, like, look, we truly are a team. There's no one individual. We don't just look to one guy and try to solve all our problems that way. Like, we are truly a team. It's not one guy's better than the other guy. It's a real camaraderie and we all love each other and blah, blah, blah. And you kind of feel that whenever they were talking, and you hear that same thing, but you could do that. You could tell they truly meant it. And by the way, Derek, no one likes the Panthers, by the way. I hope you know that. Like, they're the most hated team in the NHL, like among the fans. Maybe besides the Toronto Maple Leafs, because the Maple Leafs are like, I don't know, Cowboys or Yankees fans thinking they're going to win every year.
Okay.
But yeah, because they're trash talkers. They are antagonizers. They traded for Brad Marchand, who at one point was considered the dirtiest player in the National Hockey League. So they won it back-to-back years, and they truly are the bad guys of the NHL. So it is pretty cool that they won. If you want to root for the bad guys, like I think it's sometimes fun to do. You know,
And is it also? Sorry, is it also because they play in Florida and they won back-to-back championships, and hockey fans are like, "What the fuck is this Florida team winning?"
It's not so much the location. It really is the guys on the team. I mean,
Gotcha, okay.
If you saw it in Game 3, I think. I mean, they were just bullying the Oilers. Like they were scoring, they were fighting, and they were beating them in every fight. But however, they may be the most, hated team. And it's sports hate. It's not like they actually hate these individuals because they're all pretty stand-up dudes. But one who is
jealousy.
One who's a punk, who went out like a punk, rather. He's not a punk because these guys are hockey players. But one who went out like a punk was Evander Kane. The dude tried slashing their star Matthew Tkachuk twice. They were going at it all series. There was one foul. He gave him like a tap on the wrist with his stick, and then he goes at him again and really like tries to strike him. He eventually got a game misconduct penalty with like 5 minutes left, and they were down by 5 goals. He left the arena and didn't come back out for the on ice handshake, which is like a tried and true tradition in the NHL after a postseason series. And he didn't even come out for that. So he just went out like a punk, man. And that's the one guy I think if you're going to type Evander Kane, he's getting the most vitriol, the most hate, blah, 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 whatever you want to call it. He's getting that right now because of his antics at the end of that game.
Damn, he might be the leader in the clubhouse for Jackass of the Week because you remember Evander Kane from the Sharks?
Yeah.
And I don't want to blink, like this is not a bad thing to do, but like he had gambling issues, I want to say, back in the day.
Big time.
And also, didn't he like make up a phony Vax card when he's with the Sharks?
Yes, he did.
Well, hey, so has he won back-to-back championships, or did he just join the Florida Panthers this season?
No, he's on the Oilers.
Oh, Oilers, my bad.
Yeah. See, look at that. If you type in his name, just the headlines, quote, "What a clown." Evander Kane ripped for snubbing the handshake line. NHL star slammed for dirty and Sorry, that's the Daily Mail. NHL star slammed for dirty and classless move in the Stanley Cup final.
Let's be accurate, Steven. Let's be accurate.
What?
Just with the accent.
Yeah, that was accurate. That was dead on. NHL.
No, I know,
Canadian.
but it's like, yeah, like I'm glad you spoke in that accent because of the publication.
Mm-hmm. Evander Kane blasted for classless move after losing Stanley. So he's getting it right now.
Yeah. Well, that's unfortunate because I do remember him as a Shark, and now he's kind of turned into the villain, even though he's not playing for the villainous team, I guess.
Yeah. A couple of Sharks won, though. Jonah Gadjevich, Vitek Vanacek, and Nico Sturm.
Sturm.
Yeah, Nico Sturm and Vanacek ended up getting traded to them this year. But Gadjevich has been there for a while.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think that's it for tonight. And I appreciate everybody sticking with us tonight because I know it was kind of clunky with my technical difficulties. I apologize. Hopefully I get everything rectified by Sunday's show. And hopefully, maybe one day, we'll be joined by the good graces of Rocka New Era and AJ Cruz. I don't know what we did to piss them off, but hopefully we win them back.
Well, the AJ one, the AJ one is a mystery to me. The Ernie 2 one, I mean, I got frustrated when he's saying, "Oh God, I'm just gonna go do something else," and I was like, "Yeah, all right, well then go do it." Like, you know what I mean? I guess I'm kind of like Ruggs in this situation.
No, you're not wrong. I would say, like, I like Taggy's approach on even though he's telling us to eat, he's telling me to eat shit. On the KMBR YouTube chat, he always tells people, like, people always announce, like, I'm off, I'm out of here, I'm not listening anymore, and he's like, dude, this isn't a fucking airport. You don't have to announce that you're leaving or your destination or whatever the fuck. Like, just leave. You don't need to announce, like, I'm leaving. Goodbye, everybody. Like, I like Tacky's approach, even though he tells us he's off to go watch Kitchen Nightmares, whatever the fuck he watches.
Yeah, what do you tell us you're going to go watch Master Chef all the time? What are you talking about, Tacky?
But it's more so like, I would say for Tacky, like it's more so people that are doing it out of anger. It's like, oh, this show sucks, I'm leaving.
Right. Yeah, I get it.
And I can see my connection's already crapping out already. So why don't we end this thing before we have more awkwardness? To everybody in the chat tonight, the people that showed up and always show up. To Pat H, I'll see you at 58 Social on Friday, my friend. To Tacky, eat shit as always. To Otis Bird is the word, the nicest guy in the chat. To who else was in here? To Just Your Positive Opinions man, who I still believe is AJ Cruz.
I
What else
do
we
too.
got? Yeah, we had some random account. Oh, Ernie one, of course. There was some weird thing that popped up that wanted us to talk about Michael Jordan fans. Where are you?
Oh, I did
Who
that
are
when I
you?
was solo. I've never heard that. Michael Jordan fans are annoying. I've never heard that one.
Well, that's obviously a LeBron fan. And Jesse, just to tell Steven he's doing a great job while he's tap dancing for me with my shitty connection. All right, everybody. Again, apologies for tonight's show. I'll get this shit figured out, and maybe I need to go hardline next time. Until Sunday, we'll see you then. Steven, say what you always say.
Mm-hmm. It is just our opinion. I'm just kidding. I'm not delayed. Man.